Hey everyone, welcome to FMATalk Martial Chronicles. I'm your host, Dr. Tim, and this is my dynamic co-host.
PG Tye's here.
And PG Tye is on the road. He's down in Texas, everybody. So if you're down there, you still got more events going on down there?
Yeah, I've got to do a small thing in Stephenville in a few days, and then I got a whole weekend at our friend Raymond Montoya's.
There you go.
Friday, Saturday.
And here we go.
There we go.
Already.
And so Jeremy wins.
And I know we were stalling. So here's the deal. So PG Tye is using he's remote, so he does not have the technology he normally has access to. I plugged into my Ethernet cable, so hopefully I'm going to have a lot better signal than normal. And hello, Eric. So we have Jeremy from Northern Ontario. We have Eric, who's coming into us from, don't tell me, Portland, Oregon. There we go. And we'll see whom else. Oh, and here we go. And then we got Brian coming in from Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Brian.
Nice.
All right. So today's topic is going to be about, I don't know, what do we say? Why Modern Arnis became so popular. Okay. But before we go down that route, first of all, please do us a favor. Wherever you are watching this, if you can, go to the YouTube channel. There's two of them. YouTube /Datu Tim or /Tim Hartman. And like, subscribe, and feel free to hit the notification button, and feel free to share this wherever you feel appropriate. We want to always thank our hosts, our sponsors, the Modern Arnis University, as well as the Vulpes Training Blades. And, of course, they've got that premier new series, the Datu series, the Datu Tim Hartman series. No shameless plug there. Actually, I don't get anything from it, so it's all good. It's just the ego stroke. And then our feature events. We have the feature event, which is May 20th through 22nd. That is the Modern Arnis anniversary camp for 65 years of excellence. And the one we're going to be talking about is the Triple Threat Seminar. Triple Threat, baby. That's happening at the end of this month in Middletown, Connecticut. Looking forward to that one. And that'll be, when you say triple threat, well, is it threatening? No, it's not threatening, but it is three people having a good time. So we've got two brothers and then a stepbrother. So we got the two brothers, Ty and Frank. They're both students of a very good friend of mine, Eric Alexander, and myself. So I'm the ugly stepchild. And the cool thing here is all three of us have the same story. We started with somebody who was with Remy. In my case, I left. Your case, both you guys were passed up because Eric moved actually kind of similar. John was getting out of the art, and I had some issues with some things that were going on in the club. And we separated ways, and Remy reached out to me. And then with Eric moving from Connecticut out to Colorado, he put Frank in direct contact with Remy, so he passed him up. And he did the same with you, trained you, and then eventually passed you up to Remy. And Lyman is saying hello from Albany. I'm assuming that's Albany, New York. So he was at the Florida camp, and then he went to Indiana. And then he went over to Detroit. So he's a road warrior. I thought I was the road warrior. No. Although I flew down. So I go to the Movement Summit conference. Had a good time. There's a martial business thing in Suffolk, Virginia. And lo and behold, I get home. My alternator blows out. I'm stuck at a gas station waiting for a tow for 5 hours. But I made it home. And here's Jackie. Jackie, how you doing? Hey, how's that new job going, Jackie? Are you working yet, or are you still waiting for that time to start? So we'll hear from her. She's reaching out from She's Missouri, right? I know she cheers for KC, so you know. But that's
Yeah, no, I'm out in this little mini texture. I'm still feeling like a slouch next time.
okay. So,
So it's good to have you
like I
around.
said, Ty
And
is
everybody
on the
else.
road, so let's not expect. Oh, here we go. Lovely. Here's a good one. Started Friday, the same day I got diagnosed with COVID. Good thing it's worked right. Okay, well, there you go. Good thing you can work from home.
Well, heal up quick. Yep.
So, everyone, hey, can someone give me a shout out? What do you think of my sound? I know Ty's got some issues. Well, Ty's got issues. Ty's got some issues because he's on the road. There's always that. But let me know what you think of the sound on my end. If I need to move the mic closer or not. I don't have a dedicated. I have my laptop that's for this, but I use it for everything else as well. So I'm always setting up, tearing down, setting back up again. So it's always a pain in the derriere. Oh, so I'm gonna have this little logo. I'll be like Cyclops, but different here. And here's Ty again. Oh, and then there we go. So Lyman says sounds good. Mr. Sweeney from Texas, how you doing? Thanks for that. Brian says I'm good, and your audio is good. Just my audio, you can hear you fine. ¿Cómo está acá?
Very cool.
Ame from all the way from the Philippines saying hello. Most excellent. Okay. It's like
so at least you're good. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but if I'm fading out, just I'll be back. Don't worry about it.
Maybe we don't want you coming back. I'll be back. Yeah. He's the Terminator, Ty the Terminator. So, let's start with a couple things. So while we're here, okay, now we're going to do an episode on seminars. That's going to be one of the ones we're going to do. Mabute P. I'm assuming that's Poe, but that's okay. People. So tell us a little about the seminar, because we are going to do one specifically on seminars, sort of like an adjunct episode, one that would dovetail into the FMA Professionals episode I did. But tell us a little about the tour.
Let's see. The last 3 days, I've been doing different things. So in Lufkin, I did a nice seminar. I thought it went really well, actually. A really good. Well, the first one was in Houston. Went down, visited Master Ed and his group, and he never brings in external people. So I was pretty honored to be invited there, and everybody seemed to have a great time. So maybe looking forward to maybe doing something again. But we had a good good exploration of Bull-Intwat concepts and crossovers with sort of a modernist eye. And we covered not only the grouping type stuff, but also some on-call stuff and some scenario-based things out of a Stig and Bua. So that went real well. And the very next day, I drove up to Lufkin, went and saw my friend Adam Coates from way back in the day and his group. And we had a really cool place out in the forest next to a lake. And we covered for 2 hours. We started 2 hours early and started with some knife concepts and did some single stick concepts. And then the seminar itself was empty hand combatives, Panantukan, that kinds of thing.
Nice.
And that went really well. We had some former law enforcement folks. We had some people training all sorts of different things. I had some old Kung Fu friends. Both of those, 12 people on the first one, 17 or so people on the next one. Lots of good feedback. But this sort of tales what you're talking about. That my teaching style is somewhat different than some people's, but the idea is focusing on people having fun, relaxing, doing working hard, but having fun so they learn as good as they can. But there are lots of other ways to do it too. And then yesterday I did a seminar at David Beck's, our friend that helped us do the camp, and had 8 people including Chester Brown.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
didn't you have someone stop by and say hello?
Yes, so I haven't seen Grandmaster Unding de Leon for decades, but he took the time to drop by and visit and watch the class for almost an hour and a half or two, so half of the time. And we're going to go out to have lunch tomorrow, so we'll catch up a little bit more then too.
Nice.
But that
Well, tell him I
was
said
really
hello.
cool. That was really cool. Yes, I will. And again, we had a good time there, and a lot of different folks with different backgrounds, but we all were able to play together, work together. And you know me, I sneak in a couple extra stuff for the advanced folks, and I did at the very end split that one up a little bit just to make it less distracting. But yeah, I had a blast. So that, this is making my vacation really. So appreciate it. But yeah, I think this will dovetail nicely when we talk about doing a seminar.
Oh, wait a minute! No! I'm not letting you get out that easy. So, my friend,
what's that?
I heard something big happen while you're out that way.
Oh, yeah. So before all that, I taught a bunch at my Kung Fu Touch instructor days, a bunch of classes, adults classes in Kung Fu, but I also shared Arnis class. And of course, yes, I did. He asked me to test, so I tested, and I got promoted to Kung Fu up to 8th degree. So
8th degree.
That means,
all right.
I never have to do it again, but it's nice to have that vote of confidence.
All right. And Rich just says hello from Grand Blanc / Flint.
Excellent. Lots of good folks on here today. I might as well just go away.
So
good to see you.
This is gonna be an ongoing rant of mine. It's always an ongoing rant. Came up again. I'm being invaded here. I got my my lap dog, my 170-pound lap dog just showed up.
Nice.
Oh, even more kung fu magical stuff.
She usually says a different word when I do my magical stuff. Yes.
Okay. So I gotta give someone some love in here while I talk to y'all. So all right, my rant, and this is I want to make sure it comes out the right way. A lot of times it doesn't. And this one's a little not a black and white situation. Oh, you got a fuzzy one. There you go. So
it's my sister's dog.
There we go. I've been one of the things that's been irking me as of late is judging people by the minority or giving credit because of the minority. So as of late, we've had this discussion on more than one occasion, and it's come up. We're going to do an episode on sparring, and actually Craig Mason is going to be part of that. And we've done math already a couple times, and we figure, we talked about, Modern Arnis doesn't fight. And we'll talk about that in the future. That was going to be one of our episodes. It's just it's not me. That's
wait a second. I thought Remy was Modern Arnis.
Right.
So Remy was Modern Arnis, right? So
Remy was Arnis, Modern Arnis plus.
I know where you're going.
So and actually on one of the
yes.
on the show, when I said that, Joe Rebello says, "Well, don't tell that to Doug Pierre." I go, "I will tell it to Doug Pierre. I don't tell it to everybody. Modern Arnis doesn't fight. Remy didn't build Arnisadors. He made people better self-defense players. And if you count the number of people that fought in Modern Arnis, I mean, how many people do you think Remy had? What would you think the peak it was when he was alive, globally? Now, the Philippines didn't count because he was gone. And he was reconnecting with the Philippines. But how many do you think we had globally?
It would have been thousands, I think.
About how many?
Thousands.
Thousands? Okay. Well, I mean, you figured Dieter had
people. Yeah.
Dieter himself had 1,500 when he joined.
Yeah, so 1,000, 2,000.
You know, I'm thinking probably around 7,000 to 8,000 people. What you think that's a fair number?
Yeah. Probably.
So
Just make it a round number, like 5,000. There you go.
yeah. So I mean, because you look at things like you'd have like Michigan could have 100 people attending, but people weren't bringing all their students. You know, and then you go to another camp that have 60 or 80, another camp that has 60 or 80. And there might be like 10 or 15 people at all those camps that were the same people at the end. You know, a bunch of us would go. I was more of a seminar junkie, but I mean, I did 30 camps, but you know, like a lot of the guys started going to as many. They weren't doing the seminars, but they were definitely doing the camps.
Mhm.
You know, so I wasn't doing the same quantity of camps per year that, like, okay, if we look at the Mots, you take the 7 of them, Kenny, Chuck, Jeff, and Jim Lattis, those 4 really put a big effort to going to as many camps as possible. And of course, I lost Ty again. But as I'll continue saying, even though they went to as many camps as they could, and he's back. Or is he? Oh, he's back. Can you hear me? It's a tie. All right. Everybody, tell me if it's me or if it is the tie. I think it's the tie, but you know, we shall see on this one. Are we there? Can anyone log in and say something? Because Ty is frozen. I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me, Ty? It's Ty's connection. Okay, that's what I thought. So, you know, yeah, Ty, poor audio, and yeah, frozen. Okay. So basically, yeah, and he's gone. Okay, you know, I'm gonna change my brand banner here. I'll go here like this. Okay, that's gonna be a little better. That way when it goes in and out, it won't mess up with the thing. Tim Hartman video audio is 5x5. 5x5. Okay. So I was going somewhere with this. Okay. So like those 4 guys, they really at the end they were really going to as many camps as they possibly could. But that was over a short, you know, only a couple of years where I was doing over much. But even to take a handful of them, let's say you had them, maybe there was 6 people that were trying to go to all the camps. So the bulk of those camps were all unique people to that region. So if you figure there was like 5,000 people, Rich and I were talking about this the other day. We talked about said like 7,000 or 8,000 people, and we had maybe 100 people that fought, and most of those were my students. That was like, you know, 1%. You know, I mean, if you thought, well, actually, what's no, it was a little over like 2%. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. I got rid of some of the banner things because the Modern Arnis logo kept going in the middle of my forehead.
That seems reasonable.
I could be like Cyclops.
That's right. No, this should be better. I'm on the 2G network, so
okay.
That'll help.
So Rich and I talked about this on the way home the other night. We figured around 8,000 people. Hey, Sam. If we had 8,000 people, 100 people fighting, that was like 2%, right around there. Mm-hmm. So 2%. You know, 1 out of 50 Modern Arnis practitioners.
That's probably being generous,
given
what I saw.
You know, so Modern Arnis as a whole does not fight. There's people who fight in the art, but there's a different. Just like Renee Kokolo said the other day. You know, the one episode goes, you know, I've always gotten support from Modern Arnis people. I'm like, no, you got support from me and my group. So Renee would do events. I would attend. Craig would attend, and people from our group would attend. But there's 3 groups in Modern Arnis in Toronto, in the Greater Toronto area. And I'm pretty sure if we named the groups to him, he probably hasn't gotten support from any of those groups. So to say that I get support from Modern Arnis people is not the same thing as I get support from Tim and Craig and Steve and others who happen to do Modern Arnis. Hey, Craig, we were just talking about you, Craig. Talk about how you and I support Renee and, and then the Modern Arnis community got credit for that. So on the one show, someone tried to claim Manny Pacquiao as an FMA'er. And I'm like, no, he's a Filipino doing combative arts. He's not the judge of what the norm is. He's the exception.
So it's the confusion of a Filipino doing martial arts must be Filipino martial arts.
Yeah, well, and remember, up until recently, until the Arnis bill passed, most of them were doing karate and taekwondo, and they probably still do. Hell, when we the last time we were there, where did we see it? What kind of martial arts school do we see in a rental place across from the supply company? It was a taekwondo school on the second floor. Yep. No Arnis schools. Right. The only Arnis school that I know of that has a dedicated brick and mortar location just for them is Riddell de Gux, and that's on his property where he does his sticks. Yep. And part of that, he stores his sticks there too. So it's not just it's just not that, So my thing is, where people try to take credit for something or, oh, look, we're with them. And like, no, these people did it, just like we don't want to, like, okay, so people have some prejudiced opinions on things. And maybe it's people from a certain country. Maybe it's people from a certain skin color. Maybe it's people wearing certain law enforcement uniforms, fill in the blank. And just because a couple people, my father was a state trooper, and people in the neighborhood or, his community, they loved him, and as a cop, he was fair, but he'd be the first one to tell you that there's some bad cops, but a lot of times people don't ask why people are bad cops. And if you've been around long enough, you'll realize that sometimes the job changes people. There's a high infidelity rate there, substance abuse, and suicide rate in law enforcement, let alone them being shot at by people. Just something to think about.
Huge stressor for sure.
Mr. Rocky, how you doing?
Hey, Rocky.
So, and then Rocky will say, because this is my rant, I will just finish up my rant. Basically, Rocky, I said, Modern Arnis people don't fight. And we'll talk about that. I probably just opened up a can right there. There's people in Modern Arnis who would fight, but I was actually talking about how, we have to be careful when we judge a group by its minority. And that's what we talk about. We can go racial on this, we can go cultural on this, we can go profession on this. In our system, you can talk about. Hey there, Tom. We can talk about different types of martial artists. Listen, Taekwondo is probably the most practiced art in the world. And yeah, with those numbers, you're going to have quality control issues in some of the big cookie cutter schools. But you know what? I've also some of the best martial arts I've met out there were Taekwondo practitioners. So, and we usually make fun of them, Taekwondo's versus the partial art because, well, we're jealous that they're better business people than we are. But here we go. What's this? Risted Twitter Space interview. I asked FMA, did he do any FMA? He didn't. Oh, there you go. And Sam, he's the Taekwondo guy, but he doesn't know how to take the dough.
Well, and we have two good. Well, anyway, there's a lot of good TKD people out there for sure. Yeah, we know. Definitely. I was just thinking of Rondi and Christine and all sorts of good people.
Hey, Rondi! Oh my God! I mean, she went to Shaolin Temple. She does all this stuff. Mm-hmm. She's done stuff with us, and people talk about her, because she had probably the biggest freestanding Taekwondo school that we've ever met. And you know what? Mm-hmm. She was quality martial artist.
You can be both. You can do quality martial arts and quality business.
And that's it. So this week I was at a business seminar, summit in Suffolk. Brandon Belicio was there, who does Modern Arnis. It's in his DNA. It's more of a hybrid because he's a student of Greg Alemany, who's a student of Remy Price's. Okay. So, and then the Maya people were there. Now, the week before, I was down in Orlando, and I wanted to look at all the Maya school, the championship martial arts schools. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I was so impressed. I'm watching these kids work out on their own, working out, doing 540s and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. And it was Mike Metzger was the guy gave me the tour. And I'm like, okay, so look at this. I go, wow, here you got a very professional school. You got over 200 students. You're making a good, and the school that I was in was a very profitable school. And you got good quality people on the floor. I mean, some people you can sit there and argue, well, I would never do this. Okay, so you don't like their martial expression, but the material was rock solid. And these were kids. I mean, I saw a 10-year-old rocking shit. I'm like, damn.
Excellent.
It was like Shia. You know? Okay. Eric. Oh my God, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Eric is probably he's Malmoney's best training partner when it comes to demos, in my opinion.
Right.
He'll also wear a Lucha Libre mask when he does it.
Nice.
And Mr. Franco. Good to see both of you.
Dim
Yeah, see both of you this month. Dim Franco. Hey, we'll be at the event. Hey, how did you? Well, we have to have him on the show too. But he just did a camp he was at what's his face's camp? Chad Bailey's camp.
Chad Bailey.
Yeah. So he's down at Chad Bailey's camp.
I still got to make one of those.
Yeah, evidently everyone was there. I saw pictures, and well, not everybody, but I saw Dan and Bram there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna shut a door and see if it shuts him up.
And Bruce too, and yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, I got to make one of those eventually.
Looks like you got quiet for me.
Good.
All right, so that's just a little side tier. What I don't like, and maybe it's just about me, but I see it with other things too, is like I love how people take credit for someone else's accomplishments. Oh, we fight. No, I fight. We've done this. No, I've done this. This, I go like, well, no, you've done none of this on your own. So shut up and stop talking about it. I went last year. It was awesome. Okay. But she hasn't come to Buffalo. Got it. Okay. I see how it is. I see how it is. Whatever. I'm
going to throw Steven under the bus. Steven Swinney is trying to work out how to come up to Buffalo that time.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. All right. So I'm off on my tirade. So today, well, this actually be part of today's thing, but today's thing is, how did Modern Arnis become so popular?
I got one word answer.
Is it one word or one name?
Yes.
Yes, in May. This May. May 20th through 22nd. That's the 65th anniversary camp.
All the cool kids will be there.
Yeah. And even us too.
And that's right. I've got 3 of my current students going, and plus, like I said, Steven, and I'm trying to see if Abel, we'll see, his knees are killing him.
Okay. Well, no comment. I'm doing Chad flashbacks here. Our Chad, not the other Chad.
Our Chad.
We got to keep our Chad closeted, because if he comes out, he'll be. We got to keep him away. We got to keep him locked away in the chest, because people won't know what to do with him.
I was channeling his dark side during dinner today.
Oh, were you?
With my sister and her family.
Your family's got thick skin. They can handle it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
They know what they're dealing with. Yes. It's the tie.
Excellent, Stephen. Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to get something going here. If I can, I don't know where it is. Ay vey. I've got something I'm looking for and just cannot find it. I know where I can look. So, anyways,
Andy Norman from Spain too. Good to see you.
Let me get over.
I'm just catching the comments since you're checking things.
Wait a minute. Hold on here. So I know. Oh, is that? Oh, dude, Andy, brother. I haven't seen you since the New York convention. You weren't at that one, were you? The New York City DL convention?
No, I've never been to a DL convention.
That was good. All right, there you go. It was good stuff. Good stuff. Andy's got a unique look at martial arts. When you come down Thursday, we'll tag team. Okay. Ty, what is the one word? Okay, we're gonna hold on. We're about to get into it.
That's right.
I'm doing. How you doing? How you doing? And we got to get the one. Yeah, once this gets the shit going, you know what? I think I'm about to go to Spain if that's where Andy is. What the hell, Andy? We should do so. I'll come out there. We'll put something together. How's that sound? And then we got to get into the show. So let me see. How long have we been at this? 31 minutes. Although I'm going to blame it all on you and your bad connection.
I'm sure. Why not?
It works for me. It keeps me out of the bad side here.
Yep.
So okay, this is what I was looking for. Andy Norman, we've all had great journey. Have a fabulous chat. Yes, come to Spain. Yeah, definitely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this over.
So we will answer Dean's question.
Okay, I got to do it this way. So Dean, this is for you. Well, actually, this is for everyone. It's not for Dean. It's for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. Tell me, brother, why do you think Modern Arnis became so popular?
Remy. It's all Remy, baby.
All Remy. I personally think he is the most instrumental of all the people out there for the Filipino martial art world. When you think of the big scope of what he's did, getting the art into the school system. That right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Right there. He got it in the school system.
Well, he was so charismatic, right? He got a lot of people to carry his message as well into big, at the time, what was social things, right? All the magazines, all of the ads, all of the word of mouth, all him.
Yeah. So now there's more
to that, though.
There's a lot to that. we can't just say it's all Remy, because there's like, how did Remy do what he did? And I personally believe it's one of, if not the most misunderstood of the Filipino systems. Trip to Spain, Craig says, okay, he's all in there. And he goes, honestly, Spain is waiting for you. I'll send you my personal mobile. Done. Once things get better on the traveling side on my side, we'll definitely put that together.
Heck, I might be up for that. And
the thing here is, so I might be doing a fast track trip to the Philippines. So we're going to be doing a camp in the Philippines, and I need to see who and what is left after what COVID has done to the country, or the repercussions of that. So I don't want to bring people there and then all of a sudden it's not safe, mm-hmm. or subpar lodging and stuff like that. And, so I need to make sure everything's good. So let's see here. I'm trying to do two things at once here. So because the old man never tried to put the art above anyone else, he showed them how it worked within the art. Oh, yeah. Yep, and yep again. I think it's
you hear that, Rocky? You're right again.
Understood.
But that's a big part of it. But yeah, there's that people connection. We'll get into all of this, I think.
Yeah. So first of all, let's talk about, I think the big thing. Okay, so which ties in to the next thing. Ty for answer, or thank you for the answer.
Right.
I like Ty. Out of all the interviews covering Modern Arnis, has consistently mentioned his persona, but I think the other thing too is his approach was different than everybody else. And I think the combination, okay, listen, okay, no quarterback can win. Okay. No one player on a football team can win without the rest of the team, and Remy had so many different aspects of things that he was doing. And like, I want to say this, why is Modern Arnis so popular compared to the other Filipino systems? Now, I think there's two things here that we have to think about beside we have the man, and then we have the methodology.
Well, going to about the rest of the team, he enabled really good people to do their parts, right? Why did I get into this as deep as I did? Eric is an awesome person.
Yep.
A key player. So there were a bunch of those.
Yep. Now I'm a little outspoken about certain aspects, and we'll get into that. So
Are you? No, I haven't heard that before.
You haven't heard that?
No.
So well, be prepared. It's time to let these these white locks fly here. So here's the deal. Remy had a system. He could. Remy didn't teach people what he wanted to teach. He taught them what they needed to learn. Okay.
Works.
LOL. So thank you. You look at the big scheme of things. Remy didn't. Let's start from the beginning. He didn't open up a school because if I open a school in your town and you have a school, now I'm your competition.
Mm-hmm.
But what I could do, which I think is the strength of Modern Arnis and the downfall of Modern Arnis, is that I could teach you how to improve your base system with Remy's program without compromising the integrity of said system. So it's the art within your art, which is awesome. The problem here is, though, without a standalone school after he passed away, it's not as surprising that we lost so many people, because all they did was say, well, he's gone. He was the reason why I was there. I don't do this as a standalone program, so there's no reason for me to open up a standalone school.
Right. Well, there's another effect too. If you're teaching in a seminar or even camp method, you're the outside guy coming in a sense to all these people that are hosting you. And when you say something, it's different than the very same things that everybody's instructor has said, and you're showing it in a wow way that they haven't seen before. It hits home, and you can end up really hammering it home effortlessly if you've got the goods, and he had the goods. Mm-hmm. So he played on that to a T, I think.
Mm-hmm. The downside with that, though, is because it was done the art within your art, mm-hmm. he depended on some people that really were not qualified to do stuff mm-hmm. in his name. The problem here is, okay, and I've had people say, well, Remy was this master mixologist, and he was this, that, and that's the secret of Modern Arnis. But the problem is, he was when you have someone representing a different blend, like let's take someone who does Kempo. Okay, they do Kempo and Arnis. They will not have, for the next tier of people, they will not have the same things to offer them that Remy offered those guys. Oh, and look at that. Bingo. Was his name? Oh, Bingo. Okay. Thank you, Rocky. When you take a karate Arnis guy and a Kempo Arnis guy and a Kung Fu Arnis guy, not you, then a Jiu-Jitsu Arnis guy and all this other stuff, they're blending things. So now they've got this hybrid program, which is great. And it talks about Remy's The Art Within Your Art and all this other stuff. Awesome. Very awesome. But the problem you run into is, now who represents what Remy was blending in with everybody's system?
Right.
When if you're doing vodka-based drinks and you run out of vodka, what do? You can put something else in, but it's no longer the same.
Right. It's really tough to get the vodka out of the screwdriver when you need it for a mule.
We like mule.
Yep.
I gotta find. I'm deleting some things because I have to put a new file up because we lost somebody. We'll be talking about that in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but so I think Remy, like I said, Remy was this master mixologist. Unfortunately, the people who would then represent him afterwards didn't have that same blend, and I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I was so successful in the seminar series. That's how, in essence, that's where our connection is, because Eric said, I'd asked him, why you want me? Mm-hmm. He goes, well, I'm going to work with this guy, and he wants to put as much Tai Chi in this as possible. Sweeney switched to Jameson's.
We talked about that just the other night.
You and Eric?
No, me and Steven. Sorry.
Oh, about Mule?
Yes.
Okay. So, but at the end of the day, that's the aftermath. But let's talk about this. So, what he did was look at what you had. Let's talk the why Remy got so popular. One, he didn't teach a full system. Some of us were lucky to specialize in the system, but most people didn't weren't taught a full system. What they were taught is aspects of the art. Now, we've talked about this. I think why, because actually this weekend I'm going to be on Dean's show Sunday night for professional FMA schools. And one of the things I'm going to talk about, and we've talked about this on the show here, complete and standalone are two different things. Mm-hmm. You could have a complete field of study. You can do a complete field of study on archery. You can do a complete field of study on handguns or on long guns or on whatever. But do you have a standalone program? So do you have a program that what you do is when you run out of ammunition? Do you have a program that what if someone comes at you with edged weapons? Do you have a program? So we do stick work and we do blade work or defensive tactics against. Okay. What happens when we don't have a stick in our hand? And what most people will do, their default will be go to the primary system. So they completely ditch modern or Remy's teachings. They're only there to use it for the weaponized encounters. And the rest of the time they're going to do their, karate or kempo or jujitsu or fill in the blank. I mean, do you think I'm off on that?
No. And it's and there's an extent to that and there's a blend, right? Everything is spectrum, but yes, I think the general trend is right.
And we can talk about, and listen, people are going to cry foul. You know what? Grow a pair, whether that's testicles or ovaries, I don't give a shit. You gotta get past this. Not me. It goes back to the fighting. We already talked about it. Hey, Rocky, do you think more than 2% of Remy's people fought? More than 2%? We'll see what Rocky says about that. Nope. I can admit I go straight to kickboxing. Yep. And I don't blame him. Listen, Jeremy's put a lot of time into his kickboxing. Why wouldn't he do that? Right. It makes sense to do that. But the thing here is because, like myself, I trained without a safety net. I had nothing else to fall back on, so I had to make this shit work, which is probably why I have a full-time Modern Arnis school. FMA school. I teach more than just modern there, but the thing here is I teach a lot of stuff that's all interconnected with the art.
Right.
It's not like I said, well, I don't have, there's no connection. So I'm going to do my Modern Arnis and then I'm going to do, I don't know, fill in the blanks. I'm going to do, my Dikiti Tertia because I have no blade work whatsoever. And then I'm going to do Sikaran because I don't know how to punch and kick, or I don't know how to kick. And no, I had all that stuff already. Remy had a whole package. And some people say, well, this comes from this. It doesn't matter where the shit came from because no one had original thought in their damn life. Okay, let's talk about Korean martial arts. The original patterns were Shotokan patterns. They were not Korean. They were Japanese. Boom. Drop it. So all you Taekwondo people out there, if you've never heard that, I've had to disqualify a bunch of Koreans competing in the Korean division doing Basai Dai, which is a Shotokan kata. It's like they're trying to say Gumdo now it's that the Kendo comes from Gumdo. I'm like, stop the bullshit. Kendo sword fighting, Japanese sword fighting, that came first. Then Gumdo is a copy of that.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, everything's Kung Fu. So,
yeah, what the hell do you know? All from India. Some people even say Egypt because they found hieroglyphics.
See, I've got the research that shows that the Bodhidharma influenced Kung Fu, but not bring it.
I'm going to go with primates.
There you go. Aliens.
Yeah, well, ultimately, we've seen the sky.
That's right.
Eric von Däniken. Well, it depends on what color, because you have the green ones that did the Egyptian and the gray ones that did the Mayan pyramids. So
that's right. Yep.
Completely different. But Anyway, but we digress.
That's right. We do. We never do that.
Never, ever. But here, the thing here is that when you're doing the art within your art, it's within your art, which means you're basing it off of something you've already done. That means everything from the ground up, which is a great way to get the word out, but a terrible way to keep the art going.
I think what that boils down to, right, is that basically he was teaching every individual to make themselves like you said, a better martial arts. That was a personal art expression, interpretation in, combination for each person. That is not a standardized system. That is hard to pass on if you do it that way.
Boom. Now, why is modern more popular than Serrata? And I'm just, and I'll say Serrata because there's less of them out there, and I'm not worried about them trying to beat me up. Actually, I have a lot of Serrata friends. Yeah. At least they say they're my friends. We'll see. Greg Hiltz had some interesting commentary from his from Korean Styles. Very good.
I like Greg.
Yeah. I'm waiting for this one thing to drop. It's still downloading. So, that's an example of a system that I don't think is standalone. It was very specific. You learned it the way it was taught. Mm-hmm. A bunch of arts, you could take a lot of arts that this is the way you do it. Okay, let's see what the man is saying while I pull this up here. Oh, yeah. My glasses are not helping me here today. Can you see that, or are you looking on your phone?
I can see it. I'll read. So Rocky says, not in the early days. So this is the early part of the conversation. Not in the early days because he was against it. It was one of our first falling outs when he found out I was playing with my PTK friends. By the time you got involved, Tim, somehow you did it and changed his mind or something. I begged people to do it in the 80s, and Remy always told people not to entertain me. So however you did it, congrats. That's, I think, with the spar or the fighting. Yeah, that was answering that question you asked him directly.
Okay, if that was okay. So, yeah, I think okay.
Yeah, I think more people are involved in the fighting because of you and guys like Andy and Doug and whatever.
Well, I mean, post Remy doesn't count. And to be honest with you, and even if we talk about Remy, or even talk about Modern Arnis, okay, I don't count the Philippines because they're more under Sport Arnis through the government sponsored as a collegiate, as a scholastic sport. We don't have that here, so we wouldn't, And how many people are doing Modern Arnis or just attached to Modern Arnis? Because Tanette, when we were, the Panay that I was sponsoring over there, her and her sister came over, so she was being recruited by different teams, and she had some Modern Arnis influence, but it was more of like when I talk to the Filipinos who are part of these teams, they go, "We just know how to do the tournament. We do not know the art. We just know how to score." And that's a whole different animal, Yep. Don't want to say boxing is not an art. Boxing is a very specific set of skill sets, and it can take a lifetime to master. So I would definitely throw it in a martial art category, but it's primarily geared for sport. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and when I see boxing clubs, it's all about developing, it's about building character and stuff like that, but it's all about competing or fitness. Actually, what happens, you generally have your 10, you got like 200 members of the boxing gym, and but only fight 5 or 10 fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what Ron Browning used to always tell me. Yeah, Tim, I'm only going to have a handful of fighters. The rest pay the bills.
Pay the bills, and then some of them are fodder.
Yeah, but I think probably Rocky. I fought no gear, live stick, and we stopped real quickly because it hurt. We didn't use helmets, but we didn't do headshots.
Right.
Okay. Then Rick Hernellis. He was the one that got me. He gave me my first set of padded sticks and homemade helmet and stuff. Okay, let me see what he got there. Also, I say Dighton, right on. I mean, fencing helmets, light gloves. Okay. Much padded. You could get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I get you. I have the same preference, Rocky.
Yeah. I used to make my own padded sticks. And they would hurt. Oh, here's the thing though. Okay, so we use the hit sticks by Action Flex. They're amazing sticks. They have some kick to them.
Yep.
But when we're in the Philippines, I can't believe the level of wussdom over there. Like Craig and I are there. I mean, actually, no, you were there too at the time.
Yep.
So, were you there when they started showing us actually, you may not have been on that trip yet.
No, not that one.
Tungsten was showing us all of the gear that was required.
Right.
And like, here, they gave us the stick. So we're smacking each other in the leg ourselves with the stick. Oh, these are good. I can handle that. That's a good pad. It was whippy, but it had a little sting to it, and it was just enough. And it was a real thin rattan cord stick. I just signed on. Hello. Would you consider Modern Arnis more self-defense than doing? We're in the middle of that conversation right now, Chris. You should 5 minutes ago. So we're talking about fighting in Modern Arnis, and we're going to talk about what the art is as a whole. So when they gave us the stick, we're like, "Oh, dude, I'm using this." Yep. And then Craig, there you go. He goes,
"Yep."
We hit ourselves in the legs. Okay, no problem. I'll take this. And then they have a chest protector. Okay. And then they got an arm protector. And then they got a leg protector. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? Oh, the parents are like, this is the Philippines. This is supposed to be. Man, when did you guys become such wusses? And we actually hit each other. Now, I don't know what it is with the stick fighting, because when I was with Sikaran, like the World Championships in the Philippines, they wore helmets. And they had kids going out in stretchers, but no one was crying foul. It was like, hey, just a part of the sport.
Well, you need feedback. If you ignore the feedback and accountability, then how are you going to get the lessons it's going to teach you?
Sparring with consequence.
Yep.
Any kind of training, you need to have consequences to your actions. If there's none, then you.
But Chris, quick answer. I'll just say the former, but we'll explore that later. That's my answer anyway.
Yep, self-defense. But we're going on that path.
Yeah. Well, we're still supposed to be talking about how it got so popular. I think we're sort of talking around it, but
well, I think this is part of it. Okay, we got into the fighting thing, but why is it so popular? I think is because Remy focused on the tech. Okay,
well, he also made it accessible.
Yeah, I would have the kids wear helmets, or the adults wear helmets too. Well, at least, okay. First of all, Jackie, I'm just going to give you a little business advice. Okay, so, so for those who don't know this, I was for a short period of time the commissioner for Stick Fighting World, which was cage stick fighting in Canada. Except they took down the cage and they put up acrylic walls. It was pretty cool. Well, they were using a weak calf helmet with live sticks. And you could do punching and kicking, choking each other out, stuff like that.
Except.
Yeah. But then the one person said, you should think about using fencing helmets, even though they're not designed for that kind of use. And I sat there, I go, that's the point right there. They're not designed for that kind of use. And when you talk about insurance and lawsuits and stuff like that, people will cry foul. Well, no one cares if you signed whatever you signed. At the end of the day, negligence is negligence. Now, we use the Action Flex. I have them made direct. I get the Hit series, and I make sure we're on a fascia. What kind of sparring were you doing with our Chad when you cut his forehead open?
No headgear of any sort.
What kind of sticks were you using?
Padded sticks.
Padded stick, cut his forehead open. Jackie, you may want to think about wearing helmet.
Twice on one hit.
Okay. Padded stick. And you weren't even going hard, were you?
No, just fast.
Okay. And the thing, here's the problem with the padded sticks. Okay. The foam breaks down and no one replaces them as fast as they should. So then you got a hard plastic end hitting you in the head. Okay.
Those are two separate things in my mind.
Well, it's either you're doing sparring or you're not. So what are you doing? because I don't understand what you're saying there. Because here's the thing, Jackie. It doesn't matter who's doing all out. Anybody can hit the other person hard, real quick, real fast, unintentionally, and hurt somebody. They're pricey, and we don't spar. Yep, okay. That's why everyone should have their own gear, one. And you should wear a helmet, because two. Now, your stick was in pretty good shape when you hit him in the forehead, right?
It was, but you would have had to do a close inspection to see that padding was very close. But it didn't help, because what happened is I actually pulled it, and so it bent, and then the edge hit.
As a multi-decade veteran owning a school, I wouldn't take the chance with my business, my home, my anything. I am insured. I was just at a group that didn't have insurance and been working for that. Okay, so listen, everybody. If you're in the United States, Francis L. Dean and Associates, it's about $400 to $500 a year, and you can have insurance. It's well worth it. I don't get sponsorship for that, but here, when you're starting to do anything, no. And the other thing here is you gotta spar with proper gear, even if it's semi-sparring. The most painful shot I ever got was a stupid. Okay, so Century used to make, yes, no insurance, Filipino Martial Art Group. It's crazy, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of people don't. Oh, we're not going to get hurt. We don't need that. So, and here we go. You want to know another reason why Modern Arnis got so big? They didn't spar. Well, no, it's in the book.
That's part of being accessible, though, right?
Listen. Okay, I'll tell Rocky. Listen, Rocky, I sparred all the time. It was internal. I wasn't going out initially. I just fought. So Remy never gave me shit. He would see our guys fight each other, and really, Buffalo was only a Modern Arnis town. Only recently did other arts come in Buffalo, and even still, there's one Pikiti group in Buffalo. Actually, it's Pikiti and Cali de Leon. Okay, that's it. Always protect the melon. Yep. So Remy let me do stuff because I was doing it internally. I wasn't sparring outside. It was, so I think maybe it's because the people you were playing with, maybe Rocky, I don't know. And getting back to Chris's, I think what Remy didn't attempt to teach a fighting art. Some of us he showed more to. I mean, why did some of us excel faster than others? Because we committed to the craft. Because we did it as a standalone program. Or you trained it as a separate art, not as an add-on art. I mean, how many people have we had on the show, and they all give us the same hybrid training program mindset when it comes to open hand combatives,
right?
Or like, well, we do the open hand interpretation of this movement. Okay, so you do block check, you do trapping hands, which is the open hand interpretation of block check counter. Got it. What else do you do? Well, I do the single Sinwali application. Okay, got it. Now you got two things. And where do they get the rest of their open hand combatives? Oh, that's from my karate or my taekwondo or my kempo or my jiu-jitsu or whatever. So they're not teaching the art as a standalone program. But I digress. Actually, I don't digress.
So talking about making it accessible, right? One of the things we do with Sinwalis that they do know as part of the rest of the art, using those to help edge them into some pad focus mitt drills is, I think, a really good way to link those together. And it worked really well 2 days ago for me.
Well, there you go. There's so much connecting material, but if you took what Remy taught us, you wouldn't need another system. Mm-hmm. Now, need and want are two different things. when it comes to cars, what do you need? It needs to get you to and fro, hopefully comfortable climate, and be safe on the road for you and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that we've done all that, it'd be nice to have a Mercedes or a BMW. But do you really need that? I mean, I've got a Dodge Grand Caravan, and I had to put an alternator and a battery in it today because I blew and a new belt. So that cost me $700. Okay, so it's a 2013, and the only thing I've replaced on it is tires and brakes and the wipers. Okay, and then of course oil change and stuff like that. But I mean, this is the first big mechanical thing, and actually, it's not even that big because the other thing was I had some air conditioning issues at one time. I had some stuff, but I mean, this car owes me nothing. But I actually, it's comfortable. You've been in it many a times.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it. Now, would I like something high end? Sure. That's why I got my pony.
I need a Mach 5.
You want the Mach 5?
Yeah, I need the Mach 5.
We got to recolor it. I don't like white with the red stripes.
Yeah, that's true.
It shows the well, I mean, any either black or white is going to show the color up real easy.
Or maybe I'd take Racer X's car.
Racer X's car is pretty cool too.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, need versus want. Got it. Yep.
So I think Remy had a system of training people. No matter who you were, he had all the bases covered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think that's why one of the first we got personality. Then we had, and here's another one. Why you had the leader who was always leveling up his skill. And more importantly, he was leveling up his student skills so he could actually show what level skill. We still don't know how good he was because no one was good enough partner for him to demonstrate his stuff at the top tier.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to read this right here. And then I'm going to talk about my experience in Germany with him. So Remy had so much more open hand early on. But I think maybe it conflicted with the mainstream arts that he was bringing him in. Cruzada de Mano is pretty much a dead art now, but Remy pretty much taught the whole art within Modern Arnis at one time. But I think it was causing conflict. I don't know. How did Remy develop his seminar circuit so quickly? Okay. Well, I think that goes back to his personality. It starts off with that. Well, I tell you what the big thing was. He moved from the West Coast to the East Coast because there's too many Filipinos over there and very spread out and sparse over here. Mm-hmm. I mean, and think about this. Okay, what is the closest point of entry into the country from the Philippines? That would be California. That would be Seattle. That'd be the whole West Coast. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. Like if you're in the Bay Area, man, it's crazy the amount of Asians over there. And usually, when I'm here in Buffalo, there's a lot of Asians here, but there's not many Filipinos here. And the quantity, I mean, it's refreshing to see that many Filipinos outside the Philippines. Same up in Toronto. But when he moved to the West Coast, we are so spread out. You didn't have all these Filipino systems teaching over each other or conflicting with each other. Mm-hmm. And I think for a lack of competition over here, his dynamic personality, his ability to do pretty much anything. I mean, I've seen him do kata. I've seen him demonstrate bits and pieces of kata. And it wasn't even his kata. Mm-hmm. We've had him throw kicks like a point karate guy. And anyone who had him grab a limb of his when he does his Dumag / jiu-jitsu, dang. Okay. And for those who make the relationship, there's Droopy Dog. Mm-hmm. That was Wally J. You made me mad. And then there was the Tasmanian Devil, which was Remy Precis. So think of all that good technique, with explosive attitude and a cruel streak or a mean streak.
He gave information.
He gave a lot of
which I call pain, right? Pain is information.
He gave a lot of pain. So I think that, and now the other thing too is you got to remember this is what he did for a living. So he constantly was hustling the seminar thing. Now we do a seminar. Once you get done with the seminar, what's he do to you? Hey, Ty. Well, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Ty, how are you doing? Oh, this is a wonderful seminar, don't you think? So, should we should do next year same time? All right. Boom.
Not only that, he'd say, and you will be at my next one 6 months in the town nearby, right?
Yeah, I will see you.
Yep, you will be there.
You will be there. We will all go together. And so, and then he hooked up with Wally, and pain makes believers. Yep. Yes, it does, Lyman. But I mean, he hooked up with Wally. He did the big three, the Remy, Wally, and George show. Well, George and Kim. And my God, it was crazy on how big that thing got. Mm-hmm. And Remy would be booking seminars left and right in front of Wally. I mean, I don't think Remy's physical expression, which was amazing, was the same as the touch.
Absolutely not. We've talked about that before. It has to be felt and seen firsthand.
And no one, I mean,
which sounds like a cop-out, but I mean, there's no way to describe it.
There's no cop-out. I mean, listen, anytime someone throw Wally J, okay, Wally J, small little 120-pound dude. You're like, what the? Okay, for those who haven't seen Wally J, he used to do a finger lock without grabbing. He would palm your finger.
Right.
Which Remy did to me once, but he had to run around to do it, where Wally didn't have to walk. I'm like, Remy's like, dude, this is the guy. I'm like, with his way. I'm like, looking at him like, and I met him. I actually drove him up to Rochester, and so I'm throwing around. But I'm like, okay, so it was my time. And so I met him before I did the seminar with him. Great. And finally,
right,
he grabbed me, and he threw me. And I'm like, how the hell is this little speck of a person throwing me around this way? I'm like, my God, this is crazy pain. What the hell's going on?
Yep.
I'm like, no, this can't be true. And I kept going back for more, because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I'm like, no, there's got to be a trick. Yeah, he trains his ass off. That's the trick.
Every time he was walking his route.
And, yeah. And, at the end of the day, he kept leveling up his skill set.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So he had the right idea big time.
And he's constantly working with other people. And like in Buffalo, the last time he was in Buffalo, April 2000. Yeah, April 2000, I think it was. We go, Dr. G's on the floor teaching yoga, a version of it, stretching. And lo and behold, Remy grabs Jason Arnold, and Remy's on the floor working out with us. And I've seen him on the floor during Wally J seminars. Let's see. Remy loved to grapple. For a man that walked like Fred Sanford, it was amazing to see how fast he could move. Yes. Like you said, the Tasmanian devil. My father and Remy spent hours and hours grappling and eating ice cream. He was unbelievable, versatile, and I wish he showed more. And, we can talk more about this, Rocky, when you're on the show with us. We got to schedule that one.
But
hey, Darren.
And we're serious.
Yeah, I'm not going to let go of that. He's going to be on the show.
Yep.
I don't care if he's screaming like a little baby. He's going to be on the damn show.
I don't think he'd be screaming like a little baby.
You don't know Rocky the way I know him.
Okay.
I'm just teasing Joe there, Rocky. Rocky's got better firearms than I have. I think he's got more firearms. He's in Michigan. That's a militia, right? That whole state.
I don't know. Michigan's weird to me because I don't know it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, are you going to that camp that we talked about that's in Michigan or JD?
I can't remember.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
No, it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't double checked that, but I thought it's doable. So probably, hopefully, yes.
And Rocky admits to being a screamer.
Okay. more TMI, man. TMI.
La la la. I can't hear you. Actually, I got to stop reading it.
That's right.
No, I think the reasons. I mean, listen. This is part of its personality. The other part is physical ability. He was one of. He's probably for someone who grew up in the Philippines, he is probably the most organized person teaching Filipino master from the islands that I've ever saw.
Which people don't get. They don't get that. They don't understand that.
I mean, we've gone to the Philippines a whole bunch of times. My God, what a shit show it is when it comes to structure.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys have got amazing, like Arnold Narzo. Mm-hmm. Spot on.
Yep.
I like Riddell the Guck, really good.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people over there. It's like you're rolling the dice. Mm-hmm. Let's roll. Let's see what we're going to work on today. Boom. Oh, disarming. Let's roll another one. Here we go. Oh, grappling. That sounds good. And there's no cohesion.
Right. No story.
You know? And like when I went to Europe the first time on my own, those guys were shocked on the level of, they liked the progressions I had. Well, my progression started with Remy. Mm-hmm. And then I built it on the Western teaching platforms that I've learned from going to school here. Another note, I'm calling it a night. Okay, yeah. Have fun, guys. I'm sorry about the Bills. Next year, the Bills versus Matthew Stafford.
Is that sports ball? I'm not sure.
It's sports ball. Yeah. We're talking sports ball.
Okay.
And you go for a goal.
Okay. All right.
And a home run. There we go. Why you headbutt it?
Okay. Now I'm starting to like it. Yeah.
There you go. Similar to rugby, but different. So, no, I think the big thing is we start off with the basics. It was seminars are personality driven. Mm-hmm. Modern Arnis was a whole seminar experience.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, but I mean, and there was a difference between the seminars and the camps, I would say.
Yes. And I think okay, how many FMA seminar instructors? Okay, first of all, no Filipino martial artist did the quantity of seminars that Remy Praces did.
Not that I know of. Not even
nobody. And Asano had a good thing, but part of it was Jeet Kune Do as well. But he would do a 2-day seminar. Okay. When he did seminars, they were mostly 2-day seminars. Because also the instructors, because here's the thing he did, that you had to pull X amount of hours a year to keep your teaching creds up. Remy didn't do that. But Remy would teach 2 seminars. Like, when they first came to Buffalo, before I started taking over hosting them, he'd fly in on Friday, do a Saturday seminar in Buffalo, and then Sunday morning he'd fly out and go to Connecticut, do a seminar there or somewhere else, fill in the blanks.
Yep.
Buffalo Bills knocked out of Super Bowl run. Matt Stafford is the quarterback from the LA Raiders and was the recent good QB from the Detroit Lions. Okay. Or GB.
Sounds like rocket surgery to me.
Yeah, okay. So, Remy did 50 seminars and 10 camps a year.
Some ungodly number like that. Yeah, I remember adding it up, and it was like that.
50 seminars. That's 25 weekends of the year going to 2 cities. And he mostly did that. Mm-hmm. So then he had another 25, actually So then he had another 26 weekends to choose from.
Right. Well, sometimes he did 3 on a weekend. I can think
Yeah.
of one of my favorite ones where it was 3, one Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom.
Well, there you go.
In different parts, in other areas in the country, it'd be different states.
Yeah. And then he did a whole bunch of camps. Let's see the camps in the year. So, in the year, so let's say 2000. Jeff did a camp in Texas, and then Randy did not Randy, Al. So those are the 2 Texas camps.
Well, plus Dallas sometimes. So it used to be.
Well,
Dallas.
I'm talking 2000. There was only 2.
All
right. Then you do Joliet.
Mm-hmm.
There's another camp there. That was a winter camp. You would do that year, 2000. Bruce Chu did his camp.
So Florida-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah. It was Orlando. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Richard Roy did a camp. Terry Warren did a camp. So there's 6 right there. Gabrielle did a camp.
That's right. And
then you would do Tucker Georgia would do a camp. That was Bob Quinn. So there's 8 camps there. You went to Tunisia. There's 9. I think he did a camp in Mexico, 10. I think that was all 99 or 2000.
But that's pretty typical year.
Yeah, that was atypical. Yeah, I mean, and I think there was one less. I think there was more.
Yep, I was gonna say some years were more for sure.
So 10 camps, at least 50 seminars. And then he'd be talking to people, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that Modern Arnis made Modern Arnis popular, in my opinion. I think people like Eric and myself. Now wait for it. Here we go. Because Remy would encourage people to have us do seminars. Oh, you should have Tim over. You should have Eric over. You should have fill in the blank over. Mm-hmm. He would do all of these, and
would follow up on it, because when he found out I came up from Eric doing that, then he was super overjoyed and happy. So both sides of the equation.
He encouraged people to do. I mean, I was doing 15, 20 seminars. I think we figured out the 2000. I was doing 20 seminars at that time.
Wow.
Now, I don't think anyone else was doing that to that extent. I think basically you'd have people do 1 to 3 seminars a year.
Yep.
And then there was me, and then there was Remy.
I think in 2000, I know I did 3.
Yeah. And I'm not trying.
I wasn't doing seminars. That's what I would say.
But he was encouraged me to go to Canada and do stuff like that. Was a whole Can-Am chapter of the IMF and all this other stuff. It may have started off a little differently until he got established, because he was so poor, he didn't want to risk going that path. And after he got to know people and other things, he understood about making better business decisions, including hey, listen, I want to do a seminar here, but they're not ready for me. Let's send Tim in. And, ready could be, or, hey, listen, they did a really good job. Send Ty in here afterwards and do something to reinforce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to ruin them, but okay.
Yeah, well, you could do that too. It's a twofer.
There you go.
But no, I think a lot of times, I don't think. See, here's the thing you got to remember. Once again, I don't judge. We talked about my tirade. I don't judge a person based on one decision he did. I look at all the decisions he or she did, and I know. Okay, here's the one. Do you feel? I got into this with someone recently, and I got to follow up. Do you feel that there was a certain, after you were vetted, there's a vetting process? Would you say there's that with Remy?
Definitely, and whether you decide it's formal or informal, it doesn't really matter. But yes, there was. He had his places for people in his mind.
Okay. So after you went through the vetting process, do you feel that there was a specific formula of how many things you had to do to get a certain rank? Or do you think that may have been the process to get you through the door?
I think the answer is different depending on which side of that vetting process you are. So for the vetted people that were sort of not one of us, there was a different set of expectations. And for the people that were, more connected directly with him or fully on board or whatever you want to call that, something that felt more of a direct connection, there was a different set of expectations. And I wouldn't say it was codified, except he knew exactly what he expected of each person.
So, for everyone on the show who's watching this, Ty and I are all about words matter. So we don't invent terms to invent terms. We come up with terms to put things in better perspective. Would you say that's an accurate statement there, Ty?
Or the context that we can work with, yeah.
So RPCs is a term that I came up with. Remy Price is certified. So to be a black belt in Modern Arnis, while Remy was alive, you had to test in front of him. He was the only one that could promote the black belt, period. I don't care what anyone else tells you. He's told me this. He's told Ty this. He's told Eric this. Okay. I don't know of anyone who's produced more black belts for Remy than I have while he was alive. He told me this. Okay, now if he tells me this, the guy who's been the most competent producing black belts out there, quality with quantity, I can't believe he would have told somebody else, oh, well, you can promote the black belt. Okay. I'm just telling you based on the thing here. But I think once he vetted, what I was told, though, by somebody, well, rank is all based on what you have to do X amount of camps because that's what I did. I go, no, I think that's because it was you. I think maybe because who your teacher was or what you were saying or doing or whatnot, you took a long way. Well, no, you had to see X amount of camps to become a black belt. No, I've had several of my people get a black belt at the very first camp they went to. Now, did I have a good PR program? Of course I did. I took my black belts out to see Remy. I told them that they're going to see him at least 3 times that year. Once in Buffalo, twice on the road. I wanted people to see these people. And I'd say, hey, Ty, I want you to check out Kevin here. Can you tell me what you think? Hey, I want you to also look at these 2 other people over here because they're all testing for black belt. And I'd like to get your feedback. Now, I didn't need anyone's feedback, but I wanted to get everyone's support. I wanted everyone to see, that I had solid black belts. I also wanted them to also feel that I appreciated and respected their opinion on things, as opposed to coming and going, no one means nothing to me. My guys are getting black belt. All the rest of you suck. I mean, they did, but so if someone told you that they felt that there was a formula like this, X amount, would you think that was the norm or maybe someone's specific vetting process?
For me, and I guess I was lucky. For me, I was on the good side of that vetting process, so that's not what I'd consider the norm. I would see that on the other side of the vetting process, but there's a couple layers of things for that side as well.
Yeah, and you
just
came
from
up
what I
through
saw,
Eric.
Yeah.
So Eric was your vetting process.
A big part of it, yeah. I still had to, bring my part to the table.
Yeah, you had to do your work.
Exactly. Yeah. Wonder where'd you hear that from?
I don't know. We talk about it all the time.
Yep.
So, I think, and Remy removed a lot of objection at the very beginning. Testing, wow, at camp it was only $30.
Yep.
Because you also spent $300 to be at the camp.
Yep.
So he just said, for an extra $30, you can test for a belt. And what if it's black belt? That's still good. At the end, he changed that. Mm-hmm. But for the longest time, for decades, it was like $30. That was it. So you didn't have to worry about some exorbitant fee. So it really made it a lot easier for people to become black belts once they hopped on the program. I mean, hell, get a black belt in Taekwondo. Get the bill for that test. So, but I think overall, I think a lot of this has to do with, Remy made it very approachable, himself approachable. I think he had a,
I was just gonna add the other thing, the approachable. That it's more than just approachable. I would add that thing that people, we probably take for granted. He made every single person at his camp feel special and appreciated, and an individual that mattered at his event, and he was thankful for. It was amazing.
He had, it wasn't a cult.
Nope.
No, it was a clique. He you know what? He was the walking, well, no, not the walking, the Grateful Dead of the martial art world. You go, the dead people follow the dead around for the long, whatever.
It's a big family,
and that's how Remy had it.
Yep.
So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So we're talking about things to encourage and do stuff like that. I want to, because we talked about the event of the year, I want to update it. Now, for those who didn't hear, I'm going to let you know something here. We lost an instructor, Rick Manglanong. Long story short, he has family things that need his attention that's going to happen that time. He's actually going to the Philippines to take care of family business. So he's not going to be around. There's an open invitation. If something changes in his lifestyle, his end, he's got an open invitation, but we've lost an instructor. I hope nothing bad happens then on his end to make that happen. But if they reschedule, it'd be great to see him in Buffalo. But in the meantime, what I want to do is it is our featured event. I want to do the promotion of that event. So I think it's let's see. You're just a bunch of deadheads.
Yeah. Better than being a deadite.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about that now. First of all, Modern Arnis was started by Remy Praces in 1957. He was 21. His brothers were 11 years old. They weren't there at the formation of the art. But there's no way in hell Remy would have been able to build the art as well he did without the family teamwork. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're including the Ernesto side of the family. We would love to have representation from the Ernesto side or Roberto side. We just really don't have that. I'm going to see if we can get him to log on and say a few words. That would be great. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we just don't have anyone over here that I have access to. Now, why did I pick those instructors? Because I think they are the best in our art. I'm looking at the Komaton side. We got Shelley Millsbog and Oliver Gadush, and it was supposed to be Rick Manglanong.
Solid. Yeah.
So we went from the three of the best in the world to two of the best in the world. Okay, and who knows? I'm hoping things can be worked out. Okay, with Rick, but if it can't, it can't, and that's all the way it is to it. On the Modern Arnis side, what can I say? We got Bruce Jutnick. Unless something crazy happens, probably Remy's earliest student in the American student in the States is planning on being there. That's the plan.
Good.
Okay. I've got and now I've got a phenomenal first gen students, and we're breaking the mold now. We're actually going to have second gen students with Craig Mason,
Phenomenal.
who is probably the leading modern guy in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about Craig, and he'll be on the show in a couple weeks or a week. I don't know, probably in a couple weeks. Actually, I'm going to look that up right now. He fights Dog Brothers and is candidate dog. So you have to go to this candidate. He'd be a dog brother right now if he would have gotten his international event in prior to COVID. They didn't even actually, for the longest time, they already thought he was a dog brother. Actually contacted Renee and said, "Hey, buddy, feel free to make, if you're holding off on inducting Craig to be part of the tribe or the part of the pack, by all means, you've got my blessing. It's not going to cause that has nothing to do with me. Just don't claim him as a DMEMA, which is Dog Brother Martial Arts versus the Dog Brother Pack.
Right.
So he represents us and he does well. Him and Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy's not I don't think Jeremy's a candidate yet, but And what we got here? I thought Curtis Goodwin is in Oregon. I don't know. Curtis has gone off. I don't know. I just don't know what to tell you about Curtis because I can't find any data on him. I don't know the last time he's been active doing anything. Don't have a dialogue with him, and last thing I think he went down to see Sinaway, which was that was a mistake. But I I don't know. Also, I just don't know what his status is with Roberto because when we're there, he doesn't talk. Well, we won't get into that. Let's not go down that path. And I would say this: Curtis probably wouldn't be his top student. He'd probably be his top American student. Remember, he's got students in the Philippines, and a lot of the brothers as a whole shared students. So just my opinion on things. I think this is going to be a great event. I've got you and Chad teaching at camp, which I'm excited about that. And the Williams coming back for a second camp. They were amazing. Good energy.
Yes.
Like I said,
we got energy and attitude and goods.
Yeah. Oh my God. They got it all. And then once again, we got our first second gen guy, and I will put this staff up against any other Modern Arnis event up there. I think you will not be disappointed if you come here. Like I said, I said this before, and I hosted the first reunion camp. I hosted the first one. Okay. Those camps have got to go away. We don't need a reunion. Because what happens to reunions? They get smaller and smaller because people start dying off. Now, whether we die off or they retire or whatever, we need camps that are producing more students.
So reunions are all about, like in high school, right? Reunions are about that class, right? The class is only dwindling. It's not about the art. It's not about the current generations. It's not about future generations.
That's it right there. You just nail it right there. I mean, this has been my big, my pet peeve about giving people, all these latest Grandmaster promotions and all this other stuff. How's that helping the art? What have they done to get those titles? Have you been producing black belts, let alone masters? How does promoting so how does cheering the high school quarterback for coming back every 5 years helping that class, the class of 2000 will never grow larger. Mm-hmm. It's the class of 2000. It will only grow smaller. Every class we have will get small. Any class you choose any year, it's not going to multiply. It's always going to get smaller. But we need to keep producing future classes of, the class of 2000, or like now we have the class of 2022. Okay. Will there be a class of 2023? Will there be a class of 2024? That's what we need to work on.
Well, then, in that case, it has to become about the institution, the school, in the sense of, the style, that kind of stuff. It has to be about that more than it has to be about a group of individuals.
This is tied in also what we talked about, leaders versus influencers. It all ties in. At the end of the day, if it's just about you, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, I'm just doing this because of me. Great. Good for you. But if you want something to continue on, then you need to put into it. For me,
I was going to say Al Bundy. He was that famous quarterback.
There we go.
And now he's all the time.
Now he's a BJJ black belt.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I'm not gonna tease him.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like we talked about this the other day. There was the art has shrunk a lot. Actually, I mean, could have easily talked into this. The rise and fall of Modern Arnis. Remy was the rise, and the students were the fall. We need to we need to raise those tides again.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. It says in the will, we talked about it the other day, that this was, Remy made the comment about this being his life work and passion.
Yep.
And it resonates for me because since 2000, I've been doing this as a profession. And I was actually doing it long before then as a full-time program. I just had a day job because I didn't have the business skills to do the art full-time as a business. But as a standalone martial art program, I've been doing that since 88 as a teacher. Okay. And I started becoming better at teaching and making money. And so I can shift my profession towards this. But it's been my pet. And even if I didn't, and I would have just had a job that could have supported me the rest of my life, I still would be doing this because this is my passion. I mean, hell, you teach for free, and I surround myself with like-minded individuals. And people say, well, you mean people who are looking for money? No, people who love the art. Because if you look at my senior board, I'm the only full-time martial artist. Okay, let's see. So we have five board members, including myself, right? For the one board, for the core board that meets on a regular basis. So we have Chad Doolin, who is an LEO. We have you, who works on things. We have Craig Mason, who's a supervisor in a nickel refinery. Sam Wolf, part-time martial artist as far as a profession. And he does other things as well. Now, we've all committed to Modern Arnis as our primary. Okay. But I'm the only one that's doing this as a profession. And I've shared information. Now, you've been very successful with doing seminars. The others have impact. And we've talked about all this at the time. I've shared a lot of the information, how I do things and advertise. And I mean, you're using Canva now, and other people are using Canva and stuff like that. And, people are leveling up all their stuff. We talk about this, and this is going to be one of our shows, but we talk about all these things because we understand that we need everybody out there doing this. Remy did the same.
Mm-hmm. All of the ways he could at the time, which were different than now, but he was good at it.
So let's wrap this up because we just keep going in circles, and now I'm just going to be in a bitch session that a subgroup of Remy's senior council ended up screwing the art over and putting us where we are today versus working together. So I don't want that to become the core of this conversation. So I'm looking at some things here too on the calendar. Are you going to be ready for the 21st for Thai 2, or do we want to do seminars leading into our seminar?
Either one. Since we're talking about this, maybe seminars leading to our seminar would be good, and then
the week after is Craig Mason,
and then sometime after that. I don't know, whichever anybody wants.
So somebody is
that's a bot of some sort.
Yeah,
and another one.
So here's what we're gonna do. Let's wrap it up here. So Why was Modern Arnis so popular? As always, it starts with the man, Remy Presas.
Mhm.
His constant leveling up of ability,
evolution, transmission, enablement,
his personality. It was an experience. So I was into music, and I was different than some of the people. I was a singer, and the people around me, there were more talented singers than me. They and I look at like today, these kids, like you'll watch, America's Got Talent or whatever, and these 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds are just crushing it. Now, of course, they're having vocal lessons. There's no way in hell that's natural. It's trained voices, and I didn't have that kind of stuff. But the one thing I had with the people around me, and I had musicians that reached out to me. They wanted it when it came to singing one of their songs or doing the arrangement for their song. They wanted to work with me because I could feel it. And that's something. There was definitely people who had better vocal skills, but they were missing something.
Yeah, connection.
That's what Remy had. He had this vibe, and you vibed the personality. You vibed when he touched you. You were vibing.
That was, to me, when he touched you, at least the way I took it, it was a gift, right? And so then you want more of that. And
when you went to a Remy Presas event, 9 times out of 10, you went for the Remy Presas experience.
Yeah, I like
he
that.
was the Elvis of the martial art world. I know I don't like saying things to put others down because that's not what I'm doing. And you know how this is. I'll make a comment. It's the highest tested black belt. And most of the guys, like, were you trying to say that I didn't test? No, you're saying that. I said I was the highest tested black belt. Okay, I'll say something about, well, at least I feel good about what I do because I do all the sparring. Were you trying to say something because I don't spar? No, I'm not. I'm talking about what I like, about me.
Right.
And when we talk about Remy, I'm talking about all these experiences. There's a whole bunch of things we don't talk all at the same time. Goodwill ambassador for the Philippines with diplomatic papers. Hell, even Inosano attended one of his seminars, and Remy with Dean Stockwell, the actor, was like saying, you need to do your heritage. You need to do your Filipino martial arts. He helped encourage that. Now, I'm not saying he's the one responsible for Inosano doing FMA. He was a sponge, and it was on the search to do everything. He would have done it one way or another, but he may have prioritized it more after attending that workshop with Remy. Remy was the first international seminar instructor. It started being sponsored by the Philippine government. I don't think anyone was doing shit like that. He was in the school systems. He had a sports thing going on. He was around the world. This was in the 70s.
Right. Crazy.
Imagine
what he could have done if he would have came about now. Say if it was his same skills, same background, same attitude, same everything, except for now it's in today's world. Oh my gosh.
No, I would say think if he had another, let's say he was had another 20 years in him.
Oh, that's another question.
That's because I think now it'd be a little hard.
Well, he would do it differently, but what he could do with it is what I'm saying.
Well, I tell you, if he was still alive, if he was still with us, like because he was born the same year as Inosano.
That's right.
He was the Funakoshi of FMA. Yeah. If he was still with us like Inosano was, after social media, oh my God, he would be the beast.
Right.
He would have eclipsed.
So the other thing that does though, because remember a lot of what he gave you was personal, right? When you walked into the room and he said, "Oh wow," and you felt it to your soul as a real welcome. How does that scale, right? That would be interesting to see how he adapted. I'm sure he would adapt no problem to the media, the social,
he would have people like me help. I remember I was the Can-Am director. So I would have ended up being his social media director, or people like myself would have ended up being his social media director.
Right.
So he would have just kept Tim, make sure it's on Facebook.
Right. Well, that's true.
Facebook.
More
What
things
the-
that you will do this.
Oh my God, team! What the fuck? I am not here. Why am I not here?
Right.
And but man, I mean, no one was like him. I mean, listen, and like, okay, like Inisano is different. It's a different animal.
Mhm.
Different animal.
All the great people don't have to be the same. In fact, actually, I think there's good that they're different in very significant ways.
Yeah. Remy wasn't the biggest fit. It was what's that one gif meme. I'm not the biggest fish in the what the hell is it? It's the gator instead of it's the alligator. I'm not the biggest fish in the pond. And it shows a gator going through. I mean that was friggin' Remy,
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna let you talk.
Well, bigger in life, I guess, is sort of how that puts it, right? Anyway, to me, that connection was big. To me, the delivery was big. To me, the expression and the inclusion that made it accessible, that made it possible to do, that made it possible for everybody, the highest ranked folks to the brand newbies, to get something out of what he was bringing to them. And you felt it as bringing it to them. So that, yeah. Anyway.
I think Remy inspired people to do things beyond their skill set.
We certainly inspired them to even try, right? Realize that was something they could even think about doing. Because too many times people get stuck in going through the motions or this particular way, or that he let them to think outside the box and do outside the box. Huge.
Yep. Here we go. I found one. Here we go. I love this one. I don't have the graphics, so I had to look it up here. But this is Remy. I mean, this is Remy verbatim.
Are you putting up the honey badger thing?
No.
Oh, there you go.
I don't care who the biggest fish in the pond. I'm a whole different animal. There's the gator. That's freaking Remy.
Well, that's a part of it, the confidence I was talking about too, right? So he was confident in himself, obviously, but he was also confident in everybody that he trained, and he brought that out of people.
So when I was training with Ted Buap before he passed, the biggest thing was Remy had big brass balls. He would take techniques that couldn't work, and he was so convinced they would work, he made them work. I mean, and that's the whole thing, because he fought for real life-threatening situations in the street with no armor, no friggin' bullshit armor. We've seen fights break out in the Philippines. Man, the people are picking up bricks and stones at each other.
Yeah, he knew that it took the level of commitment that was just, I won't say over the top, but complete, and made that his confidence.
Yeah, and this is not worship. This is not idol worshiping.
It's amazement, which is different.
It's so hard to put in words when
he had his faults. We talk about those. I know, and I've talked about some of those with Rocky. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about these parts of these things that we're amazed at, and it's okay.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say that Remy. I had problems with Remy. We butted heads on things, But here's the thing too: is I was a company man. I wasn't a yes man.
Mm.
I had no problem telling Remy that I thought he was wrong or something. He made a mistake somewhere. But I also sat there and said, "Listen, you're the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this, but whatever you tell me, I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be the first one to tell you when I don't like something, And and I do that with you guys. None of you guys are yes men or sock puppets like that with me. I want your honest opinion. If I didn't want your honest opinion, I wouldn't have you on the damn board.
Right. What's the point in that case?
I'd have paper cutouts.
There you go. Yep.
I have a little puppet. Everyone agree with me, and they raise all their hands all at the same time. I mean,
there you go, on a string.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I thought you just wanted us because of our crappy senses of humor.
Well, there's something to be said for that. You get my joke, so I mean that's. Man, I like them, but you get them.
Hey, I think everything's funny. And someone said a long time ago that means I have no sense of humor, which I found funny.
There you go. So,
anybody got any last go backs or
Yeah.
questions or
Yeah.
comments of their own along these lines or different?
So, while we look to see if there's a Remy was a force of nature that can't be described. Okay. There's like, yeah, lol. So we have Remy Precis, a force of nature, one of the world's elite.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it for real,
and he'd do the work physically and mentally. So it's the whole package.
And he was constantly changing things up, and material was evolving as much as he had a rotating program to begin with. So he's constantly bringing bringing the old stuff back and new takes on it. Just when you thought you saw it all of a sudden something new comes out. All right. And then, he enabled people to do, he was just an enabler all the time at the seminars. Just he made them all feel special. And been on there. Okay, so I might have mixed up Seagram's and 7-Up the whole time. Do you really want my opinion? Okay, no. So, all right, so here we go. We're going to be doing next week is a week off. I'm not even going to do Datu's Corner because it is Valentine's Day, and on VD Day, well, I mean, you're a bunch of martial artists. A lot of you are probably single or divorced, so you could probably have the time. Probably divorced because of your martial arts, or single because of your martial arts. But we're going to take that day off. And then we'll come back on the 21st, and then we're going to do how are we going to phrase this? What do you want to? I mean, we've been chatting about this on the trip, but how do you want to address this with seminars? What do you think?
I hadn't thought further than just that the non-title I mentioned, but that's the scope anyway, is what I was thinking. Unless you got a different steer.
No, I can come out with it, but I mean, what are you thinking about what topics would you like to talk about the seminars?
There's a few things, so we could look at what goes into it, some of the good ways that have success, some of the ways that we've seen people do, good or bad, and then people can decide. There's a lot of things we could do. So
this would dovetail into the things I did on FMA Professionals,
right?
So where I did how to do seminars. So we'll talk about our experiences and stuff like that on the road. I think the pros and cons of doing seminar.
There you go. Well, and the things that you forget about. I did 3 these last 3 days, right? The second one, I gave them actually some takeaways. You know that the second group got certified Pontotocan level 1, so I gave them the sheet for that, and I gave them a chart to work on some of the things we did. Nice. So I think that's very much appreciated, and it's a small gesture, but just the fact of getting that ready gets you ready.
Is that a chart that I did, or is that one you did from yourself?
That's the not quite filled out chart. Yeah, so it's the one that you have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just by itself, not on the other requirement sheet.
No. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So you got the blank chart, right?
Yeah, just the chart plus
yeah.
Shields.
So,
and blah, blah, blah.
So I'm gonna
things like that.
Yeah. So that'll be good. And then we'll talk about, pros and cons about, what's the good part of doing seminars? What's the downfall, which ties in today's conversation, why Modern Arnis was strong, but what held it back. Mm-hmm. And we'll go from there. Then on the 28th, we have Craig Mason. Craig Mason will be coming on the show.
Everybody needs to show up for that one.
Yep. Craig is one of the instructors. He's our 2nd-gen instructor.
If you haven't met him, this is why I'm pushing this, is because you need to meet him, and then you'll see why we're happy with him.
He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. And then you need to cross hands, because when it comes to fighting, I've coached him a bunch, but he's taken the live stick. Okay, so he's done the we call it MMA stick fighting. I don't like to call it Dog Brothers stick fighting because they're not the only ones that fought that way. But obviously, it was the Dog Brothers that pushed that movement. And Rich says, "Yay, Craig!" So, and then, but he's actually done like the number one disarm of modern, the lever. He's actually pulled that off in sparring. Not the way that you'd normally enter it, but he was able to put all these things. So he's looking at our maneuvers in Modern Arnis and applying it to live stick fighting. Yep, Craig is super awesome. Yep. So that's about it. As usual, everybody, we'll be around. Send us some thoughts. We've got a whole bunch of people we're trying to coordinate. I'll be focusing on people for the camp because they're the camp instructors. I want to get them on so people can see them. Reminder, the 26th is the Triple Threat seminar in Middletown, Connecticut. That is hosted by Frank Schakowsky. It'll be Frank, PG Tye, and myself all teaching together there. And we're going to be covered by, wait for it, FMA Discussion will be in the house. Dean Franco. And we may or may not be going out to dinner afterwards. Want to see if we do go out to dinner afterwards. We're going to come back and do an interview after that. Yep. As a reminder, this Sunday, the 13th, we will be doing an episode on is it the 13th? It's the 13th episode on FMA Discussion on professional schools. It'll be a second part to one we did, and it'll be I think it's AJ Ramirez, myself, his wife, and Mr. Franco. So go check that out. And I said, what other seminars do you have? What open seminars do you have left in Texas? Is the retreat open?
It's open if you say you know me. Okay. So if you want to do it out of the blue, just let me know and I'll vouch for you unless I disbelieve. Okay. It's that semi-open thing, and then of course the thing in Stephenville is open if you can find it. It's just good luck with that. A few of us.
All right. Well, listen. I got another comment because I just logged off. Open to all styles. Okay.
Technically, it is. It's just.
Yeah, it's special.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Well, listen. As always, please stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
PG Tye.
Saying we'll see you soon.